NFL roster cuts are done. There have been more waves, etc. We're looking at the top free agents left with a different spin on it. We're going to go through two different groups: the veterans who have been available and the players who were recently cut, some of whom are on practice squads or will be on practice squads. But remember, you can always sign guys off of them, so we'll keep them in there anyway. Let's look at kind of top free agents left and some of the more notable roster cuts made. First up, Anthony Harris, who I will make note right off the bat is re-signing with the Eagles practice squad. But if you really want him, go sign him. There's nothing stopping you from pulling him off the practice squad, since I'm sure he'd love to be on an actual active 53-man roster. And then another Eagles safety, Jaquiski Tartt, also a free agent who the Eagles cut both. Got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, which was pretty incredible from that standpoint there. Different styles. Harris can do more of your deep safety stuff. Tartt more of your box safety in the end. If you had to pick one of these two safeties to go sign, who would it be? Type in AH for Anthony Harris or type in JT for Jaquiski Tartt. Drop that initials for me, those initials I should say, in the comment section. Number 3, Ndamukong Suh, the former Colt, now former Niner, who has been released by him, or by them, I should say. And it's tough to find edges who can give you around 5 sacks in September. I think Toure could do that. So, maybe again he ends up on a practice squad, but I would keep an eye on that name given the lack of available edge rushing talent in the NFL. Number 4, Marlon Mack on this list. And if you don't want to do the whole practice squad thing, then shoot, just pencil in Trey Sermon here, who was cut while we were live filming this video. Marlon Mack is going to go to the practice squad or for the Texans, who also cut Royce Freeman, by the way. I thought Mack was okay this year. The injuries have really caught up to him, but if you want a veteran back, that's a good name. Lynn Bowden Jr., who was drafted by the Raiders as a receiver, who were like, we're going to play him at running back. And then they got through camp and were like, oh shit, this isn't working. And they traded him away immediately to Miami, who had him on the team last year, but he was banged up again. He's never been really fully healthy. I thought was actually pretty good in the preseason. Ends up getting cut. I think there is a specific scheme to use him in as kind of like a gadget player, more or less in the end, like kind of a hybrid return man, running back, receiver, like Nyheim Hines, but actually plays more receiver type of role. It's kind of my mindset there. I think Bowden would be a fun fit for a couple different teams out there in the open market. A 2-part ask for today's pinned comment, so make sure you're paying attention. Number 1, shout out your favorite team in the comment section. Number 2, all in the same comment, but by the way, let me know a free agent you want your team to sign. It is the pinned comment, so if an ad break plays, take your time. Head down to the pinned comment, let me know your team and a free agent you want them to sign. Gerard Davis, next up, former first-round pick. He's a bit of a household name in terms of, off-ball linebacker talent. I don't think he's that good. I got to be honest. I have been pretty whelmed by him in recent years, just not being the guy that athletically he could be. We'll see if he gets another shot, but he's had opportunities in the past. Hasn't gone very well. Wyatt Davis, as the Vikings they cut a lot of players of last year's third-round class. They cut Wyatt Davis, the offensive guard. We mentioned Kellen Mond on yesterday's news video going to the Browns after being cut. They also cut Chaz Surratt, who is going to sign with the Jets practice squad. Good athlete, lacks play strength. The Vikings' new regime was like, all right, you're done. They had 11 picks last year. 5 of them are all that's left on the roster already, and that included 4 third-round picks. It was insane how quickly they were to move on from players. Actually, I forgot. They just cut Amir Smith-Marset. It's 4 guys left now of that group. Absolute insanity from that standpoint. Sometimes you bet on the draft and you get things wrong. And sometimes you bet on sports and you get things wrong. But sometimes you get things right. Head over to BetUS, chatsports.com/bet, and use promo code NFLDaily right there on screen for a 125% deposit bonus. That way, put down $100, they're going to literally just give you for free extra money, $125 to bet with. As long as you put down at least that minimum deposit $100 for the deposit bonus, blah, blah, blah. You can bet on the MVP odds this year. Josh Allen, Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers, and Justin Herbert. In some order, probably the way most people would rank the top 5 NFL QBs, which I think makes sense in the end. I like Herbert, though, at plus 900. You can bet with me or fade me. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code NFL Daily. Number 9 on this list, Phillip Lindsay. And I feel like there are people who haven't watched Lindsay play football the last 2 years. And they just remember the Pro Bowl guy from 2018, where he had averaged over 5.4 yards per carry, 1,000 yards. The problem is, he ain't that guy no more. He's gotten worse every single year. Bad production. Multiple teams have passed on him now, or cut him, I should say. So, relatively big name. Yeah, I mean, you'd rather have a guy like Trey Sermon, who again didn't add because he was cut as we were filming this. But verbally, he's available. Josh Gordon is number 10. You knew we were going to put Josh Gordon in here, right? Even though he's had one good year since 2013. I'll make note, by the way, the Titans are already bringing him in for a visit, so keep that in mind for Josh Gordon. Next up, we will run through some of the veterans, the guys who have been out there for a while, 15 names on that front. But make sure you guys are subscribed. That way, if you miss things, well, don't miss things anymore. Hit that big red button and subscribe. Free daily videos every single day right here on Chat Sports. The top free agents left. OG does not stand for offensive guard. You know what it stands for. It's the OGs, the guys who have been out as free agents for a long time now. That begins and ends with Odell Beckham Jr., which is kind of OBJ in the end. Beckham is not healthy right now. He is not going to be cleared to play until October, November, somewhere in that range. So he is going to wait to sign, and we will know more about ideal destinations when we are closer to that time frame. So with that in mind, in general, do you want your team to sign Odell Beckham? Our favorite way in here. OBJ for yes, no BJ for no. Number 2, Ndamukong Suh, another of the top defensive guy out there, allegedly wants $9 million per year, and that has not come close to happening because that's way more than I think NFL teams are comfortable giving Ndamukong Suh at this point. So keep an eye on that one in terms of just how he fits in. He's older, but can still help you out a little bit. Now, offensive line play is not great across the NFL, but there are some veterans who I think make some sense. First up is Daryl Williams, a right side player in terms of the right guard, right tackle option from that standpoint. I don't mind that. I don't think he's a premier player, but the Raiders should sign him. He's better than what they got. Eric Fisher's drawn a lot of praise. There might be some medical stuff with Fisher that's not been reported very well at this point, just FYI. Not as good last year for Indy, but he is startable-ish at left tackle, and I can't say that much about very many players. Donta Hightower, next up here, the linebacker. He might retire at this point. He said he wasn't sure. There was a report saying he wasn't sure if he was going to play. Well, now we're in September, basically, and if you don't sign by September, kind of not sure you're going to play at all. All right, Joe Hayden, number 6, the corner, allegedly has had some standing offers. Sometimes when there are standing offers and you don't sign, I wonder if there are really offers or if you're just lying to make yourself feel better or lying to get an offer. Hayden is not a number 1 corner, probably not a number 2, but he's a top, I don't know, what's the math right? Like top 200 corner in the NFL? I think so. There's a spot for him somewhere on a roster. Sheldon Richardson, number 7, the defensive tackle next up here. Not a premier player. Again, all these guys are either old or injured or on the decline, whatever. There's something wrong. But again, I think this is a rotational piece for you in the NFL. Now, Will Fuller's got some interesting situations to figure out. There's been the off-the-field stuff. He barely played last year, had the suspension. It's just a weird situation for Will Fuller. Like, I don't trust what things have gone on there. But if he's in the right headspace, 2020 Will Fuller is an awesome receiver. And I think somebody should gamble on him maybe after week 1 when base salaries do not become fully guaranteed just in case he gets in trouble or has issues again. T.Y. Hilton, is he okay medically? I'm not sure. Age very much has been a problem here for the Dallas Cowboys in terms of as things sit, or for the Colts, and T.Y. Hilton, just because he's not healthy. He's talented when out there, but a history of foot issues, that's a red flag for a free agent. I got 6 more names to get to. Who is the best NFL free agent left unsigned? Is it T.Y. Hilton, Will Fuller, one of those guys we mentioned earlier, or a guy just cut that maybe we didn't mention in today's video? Let me know in the comments section. Number 10, Emmanuel Sanders. And again, there's medical concerns on this front right now in terms of where things currently sit. Is he okay? There's some whispers that his knee's not right and he might elect to retire when it's all said and done. But we'll have to wait and see on that front. All right, let's go to number 11, Jason Peters, the offense tackle, who, by the way, is visiting with the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think a move is imminent, but given their offensive line concerns and the fact that Peters was actually pretty solid overall last year for a bad Bears team, that's definitely a good name to keep an eye out for. All right, Eric Flowers, next up. The offensive lineman, put him at guard. The Bengals, the Titans, both teams I think are in need of offensive guard help. Flowers ain't great, but he's better than some of the other guys out there. Chris Harris, the cornerback, kind of more of a nickel. He might be done at this point, but still someone to keep an eye out for if you want a veteran option. So too for Landon Collins, the safety. He's a box-only guy. He kind of lost his athletic ability quicker than he needed to or would have liked to. There's a reason why the Commanders cut him. And finally, Colby, who says he has 2 offers. He says so. I think the way things went down in Buffalo and the injuries he suffered last year, I don't know if we'll get another shot again in the NFL.